School District Governing Board. If everyone could please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will move into the roll call. Ms. Palacios.
Governing Board President, Ms. Denise Reese.
Present.
Governing Board Clerk, Dr. John Sparks.
Present.
Governing Board Member, Mr. Anthony Bruno.
Present.
Governing Board Member, Mr. Raul Rodriguez, absent. Governing Board Member, Ms. Amy Petersmark.
Present.
District Administration Superintendent, Dr. Manuel Valenzuela.
Present.
Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Lisette Huey.
Present.
Assistant Superintendent, Ms. Darlene Robinson.
Present.
Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Scott Downs.
Here.
Thank you very much. We will move on to the approval of the agenda. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, Madam President Reese, members of the board, at this time I would recommend approval of the agenda as it was revised.
We have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Approval of the minutes. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, Madam President Reese, members of the board, in your packet you have draft copies of the minutes from the regularly scheduled meeting of the board on October 15th, 2025, and after your review and consideration, I do recommend approval at this time.
We have a recommendation. Do we have a motion? So moved. It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Moving on to the superintendent reports. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, President Reese, members of the board. This section often resembles a congratulations session because there's always many positive things to celebrate and to recognize. And I rarely have to look very hard for stuff. And this meeting is no exception. First of all, before I forget, I want to congratulate our board. I recently got communication from the Arizona School Boards Association that this board will be receiving the Arizona School Board Association Total Boardsmanship Award, which means that all members of the governing body achieved a high level of proficiency and attainment in terms of continuing education on the knowledge base and the rules of boardsmanship. So, and that will be received at the annual conference coming up in December. So congratulations on that. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that Sahuarita Unified School District is now home to Arizona's 2026 Arizona Teacher of the Year, Ms. Tiffany Joseph, who's a special educator at Copperview Elementary School. And Tiffany will represent our district, our entire community, and our profession at the state and even federal level, and really be an ambassador for this important and noble work that we do in the education world. And I have no doubt she will be a wonderful ambassador. I understand she'll get to travel to the White House to meet the president, go to space camp at NASA. She'll have multiple speaking engagements and professional development opportunities. She gets to go to the college football playoff, be in the Fiesta Bowl parade, and really be an example of this important work that we do. So we're very proud. At first I heard that she was the first ever Arizona Teacher of the Year, and then I heard that way back, I think at the beginning of around the beginning of the Arizona Education Foundation in 1984, I think, yeah. Which, if anybody's interested, that was the year I graduated from high school. And I'm turning 60 next month, so do the math. But Sahuarita had a gentleman, Mr. Romney, who was the auto teacher, who also a very legendary teacher. So it's pretty neat, and we're very, very proud of both of these Sahuarita legendary teachers, and we wish Ms. Joseph all the best in this journey. Another one of our teachers was recognized in a special way recently, Natalie Van Alstine, who a lot of us know has been a long time physical educator and really an advocate for just health, wellness, and student physical fitness. She was named by the State Physical Education Association as the Arizona Health and PE Teacher of the Year, and recently got an award up in Phoenix. I think it's like the second time she's won that state level recognition, which is amazing. Speaking of amazing teachers, next week I'll be attending the Raytheon Leaders in Education Spirit of Education Award, where Sarah Mora, who is, by the way, a former Arizona Teacher of the Year, Ambassador, Top 5 for Excellence, and she's a finalist for the Raytheon, that Leader in Excellence Award. And finally, I will wrap up my comments this evening with a recognition. I had last Saturday the chance to hear this year's Sahuarita High School Marching Band show. It's called Paint It Black, and it was beautiful. From the props to the sets to the music to the choreography and just the overall presentation of the show, it's really a neat show. But I'll tell you what, I never cease to be amazed. A great marching band operation is the epitome. It's the exemplar of total team, total community effort. I got a chance, as Ms. Reese is aware, to jump in and help with bringing in some of the equipment. And it really is symbolic of the type of community spirit that we believe identifies and represents who we are. So very, very proud. I believe they came in third place, and they compete at the highest, the 5A level. Walden at their level, I think, came in second. Sahuarita came in third. So very, very proud. They'll both be at U of A Band Day. And so the quest for excellence continues. And with that, I'll wrap up my comments and pass it back to you, President Reese.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to the governing board reports. Dr. Sparks.
Thank you very much. I just not a lot tonight, but I always enjoy being down here in Sopori and Amato, and enjoy being here for this meeting every year. I think as the winter starts to set in, it's always fun to watch the schools come alive with activities and watch young people be excited about Halloween and the festivities of the Thanksgiving and then the end of the year holiday season too. So, but just grateful to be here, and thank you for allowing us to come to join you down here, and appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Bruno.
Yeah, I want to take a moment of personal privilege at this time. Crystal, would you stand up? I'm going to embarrass you. It's okay. So for those of you who don't know Crystal, she volunteers here at the school. She volunteers with the youth center. She spends a lot of time with the kids. She helped her mother-in-law out, who retired from this school, as the janitor. And recently, Crystal applied for her citizenship. And I had the honor to, I'm going to say sponsor, and write a letter in support of her gaining her citizenship. And in light of recent times, I think that it's very fitting that somebody who has kids in the district, who supports the district in many ways — she was the president of the PTO for the last year, and has done so much for the district over the last couple of years. And we always get to recognize the kids and the teachers, and not often do we recognize parents. And when we have somebody who spends most of a day here at the school sometimes, if not more, it's always nice to recognize them. So from my heart to yours, I thank you. That's it.
Okay. Ms. Petersmark.
Just want to echo the sentiments. So great to be here. Thank you so much. And when we came for the tour last time, it was so much fun. I heard so many wonderful things about the school, of course, from Tony and everyone sitting here. So thank you for hosting us. And amazing that your citizenship. I just get choked up all the time about that. Sorry. And I also want to thank Miss Magnuson. So we went to lunch at SHS this week, and that was great to be there also. It's just wonderful always to be at the schools. So much fun. And if you can join, Dr. V mentioned about the bands. So we have one more look that we can take and listen to the bands at the football games on Friday. We have our last home games in season for both high schools. The bands will be there. They're just getting better and better as the season goes on. If you can't make it to the games, then Band Day, as Dr. V said, U of A, it's incredible all day long. I think it's like 8 in the morning till 9:30 at night, Band Day at U of A. Amazing. So there's so many fun things going on. And trunk or treat at Walden from 5 to 6 on Friday. So there's a lot going on. If just spread the word if everybody can join. It's so much fun. And Dr. V and I talked earlier today, enjoying the beautiful weather. So thank you again. Thank you, ma'am.
Perfect, thank you. No, and I will, again, I will also echo sentiments. Sopori is a very, very special place. I had 2 of my children who got to come down here for the gifted program, and they absolutely love their time down here. And back 1,000 years ago, I used to sub down here fairly regularly, and this has always been a super special place. And so I too always like coming down to this meeting and being able to be in this community. So as Dr. Valenzuela mentioned, and Ms. Petersmark, bands are going full force. Winter sports are getting ready to start. Fall sports are wrapping up. It's a great time to be on our campuses and watching our kids do really cool stuff. So if you have an opportunity to support any of our kids, whether they're kindergartners all the way through our seniors, it's a great time to be on campus. So thank you so much. We will go ahead and move on. We do not have any recognitions this evening, but I do believe we have a call to the public. Okay, so Dr. Sparks.
Madam President, we have one call to the public this evening, and I'll read the standard statement. Call to public. Guidelines for call to the public. Those wishing to address the board may do so by submitting their comments or requests to speak by clicking online or here in person. Consideration and discussion of comments and concerns from the public. Those wishing to address the governing board may do so at this time or at the time of the board's discretion, at the time the item appears on the agenda. All speakers are requested to hold their comments to 2 minutes or less. 20 minutes total during the board meeting will be allowed for both online and in-person comments. In accordance with Arizona Open Meeting Law, board members may not respond, comment, or ask questions of speakers regarding issues not on the agenda. Any comments not read during the agenda item will still be entered into the public record. Madam President, we have one call to public, and it is Cheryl Anthony.
Okay.
Good evening. I'm a dyslexia consultant and Master Barton tutor, and I'm owner of Southern Arizona Educational Services. I have served as a lead reading specialist and director of academic support in 2 separate schools for a total of about 7.5 years. I was able to bring the Barton Reading and Spelling System, an Orton-Gillingham-based literacy program, into these school settings. Orton-Gillingham systems are aligned with the science of reading and evidence-based in their outcomes. Sopori Elementary has embarked on an exciting journey and is unique in following this pathway in this region. I'm encouraged by the approach being taken by the district, providing teachers with science-based knowledge about reading and dyslexia through staff engagements and meetings, providing the experience for teachers and parents about what it's like emotionally to struggle daily due to the challenges of dyslexia, providing teachers training in the techniques to teach reading and spelling with a structured literacy program that is multisensory, direct, explicit, and sequential in delivery. The excitement and readiness I've seen from teachers engaging in the meetings and trainings I've been giving to apply the newly learned information is very encouraging, I can tell you that. This knowledge will help teachers teach all students to read and spell more successfully, particularly those who are struggling to read and spell proficiently. Over the 20-plus years in the school and private settings I've been involved with, over and over again, students who are failing in reading and writing have become successful, and I mean very successful. They begin passing their classes and can read the text asked of them and can better communicate with their writing skills. These students begin to see their overall grades improve and their confidence build. They graduate from high school and go on to pursue their life goals. I encourage you as board members to attend a dyslexia simulation. Follow the data from Sopori over the next couple of years and watch and support this change in progress. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right, we will go ahead and move on to the new business instruction, the 26-27 new course proposals. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, President Reese, members of the board. This is an annual process that we implement in our continuous quest for excellence and the highest quality program development and program offerings. We look at things like what are the emerging needs educationally in terms of workforce, in terms of technology. We look at what are programs that have unique value-added benefit, and we look at how can we further tap the unique expertise and knowledge and backgrounds of the people that we have on our campus to advance our mission of working as a team to help every student succeed. And I want to ask Ms. Robinson this evening to talk about the courses that are up for your consideration this evening. I will be recommending approval because, believe it or not, I know we're only about a quarter of the way into the year, but we're already getting ready to request registration for next year. So Darlene, could you please enlighten us with this year's requests?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Madam President, Superintendent Dr. Valenzuela, members of the governing board, district cabinet, and our Sahuarita district community here in Amado. I respectfully submit for your consideration the following course proposals for the 2026-2027 school year across our middle and high schools. For middle school, we have Art 1, 2, and 3. It restructures existing art courses at Wrights and Ridge and Sahuarita Middle into experience-based levels, aligning with Onsa Trail's current model. This change allows students to progress by skill rather than by grade, promoting better placement and continuity. The second class for middle school consideration is Gifted Enrichment Elective. It's a new project-based course for identified gifted students, grades 6 through 8. It mirrors elementary gifted experiences and emphasizes interdisciplinary projects, service learning, and mentorship with potential space for interested peers. This would start off as a pilot at Onsa Trail and then progress. For high school, for Digital Pathways Academy, we have, and for hybrid options at both high schools, Honors U.S. History, Honors Government, and Honors Economics. All three are rigorous online Edgenuity-based courses designed to strengthen analytical writing and critical thinking while providing college preparatory options for motivated students. For Sahuarita High School, we have Shakespeare Plays, a new fine arts elective for upperclassmen exploring Shakespeare's work through reading, analysis, and performance. Technical Theater and Design, a hands-on elective introducing students to scenic, lighting, costume and sound design, building real-world production skills. These are the people working on the stage and making our stories come to life on stage. For Walden Grove High School, we have AP Macroeconomics, extended from a semester-long elective to a year-long elective. It expands the current semester course to full year to enhance student mastery, improve AP exam outcomes, and ensure alignment with state and college board standards. These additions and adjustments continue our district's commitment to student engagement, equitable access, and academic excellence. So thank you so much for your thoughtful review and consideration.
And at this time, I would recommend the board's approval of the 2026-27 new course request as presented by Assistant Superintendent Robinson.
Okay, we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Madam President,
Yes.
I think it's fun that I'm enjoying the fact that the theater program is growing in the district. It's waxed and waned over the years, and I think it's now on that rise again. It's And I'm just grateful to see that, along with all the other stuff. But I just, as the theater programs kind of come back, and, in the past, we've had some really, really strong years, and others have been weaker. So I'm just grateful that it's coming. We're seeing that from class offerings, course offerings. But that's all I had to say. Thank you, Madam President.
Okay. Any other discussion? Mr. Bruno?
Yeah, I'm looking at this, and I think it's a wonderful thing, but I brought this up previously, and I'm going to bring it up again. I don't know if it's changed or not, and so that's my issue. But the youth who live in this part of the district don't actually get to know what's happening in the other part of the district until they're up there, and it's almost too late for them to have access and for their parents to have access. I would hope that in some way we are educating parents and youth here about the opportunities up on the main campus. We already know that when they go to middle school, there is some, I'm going to say lag, and that may not be the right term, but for them to catch up and their parents to completely understand what's happening. And these are great opportunities. And while it may be a few kids coming from here, not that many, I think it's worth our time to at least find a way to get maybe the fifth graders or the fourth and fifth graders an opportunity to go up and see some of the CTE programs and make sure they're aware before they get there rather than after. I know even at the high school, there were some issues. I actually think you met the one young lady who had issues.
Yes, sir.
And we were able to make some changes for her. But I will say that's not the only case. I would just like to see that we don't forget that the kids coming from here should have those chances when they get up there to participate.
No, thank you, Mr. Bruno. Your point very, very well taken, and certainly an important point. I think in general what I hear you saying is that the critical importance of communication, over-communication, outreach, opportunity in general is a top objective, a top priority. And I think the other thing I heard is that because of the proximity and the location, that importance is only magnified here and needs to be an intentional effort. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. Any other discussion? Okay. Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. We will move on to new business, the bond capital override and maintenance and operations override expenditures for fiscal year 25. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, President Reese. This is an annual requirement under statute in regards to providing the board and the public an update regarding our implementation, our progress on our bonds, our overrides. And I see it as even more important than a formal obligation, a legal obligation. I see it as our honoring of the public's trust and also the public's dollar. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity to share this evening. And before I turn it over to my colleagues, Mr. Downs and Mrs. Huey, I just want to stress that I think if you think back to our overrides, our bonds too, they were put on the ballot with very intentional, mission-driven, programmatic purpose. We told the public that we valued, for example, physical education classes from elementary all the way through high school, that we want master's level counselors from elementary all the way through, that we want the fine arts program to be an integral part of a well-rounded education. Same with the opportunities for physical activity, interscholastic activities, career, highly skilled, highly specialized technical education, and leadership development programs like ROTC. And what you'll see is not only are these programs in place, but that they're being very soundly managed programmatically and financially. And I think the same goes for the objectives of the district additional assistant override, specific objectives, sound financial implementation, and clear results, and the same with our bond. So with those kind of thought points or background, I'll turn it over to, and I don't know who's going to go first, but Mr. Downs and Mrs. Huey. And then at the end, I will ask for the board's acceptance of the reports so that we can meet that obligation and submit the corresponding documentation. Scott?
Thank you. I do just want to preface and thank my colleague Florence Lopez. There's a lot of detail that goes into the paperwork of construction, and she is worth every penny that we're paying her. She has a spreadsheet and I have a spreadsheet, and we're always 99% right on track to the penny with each other, and it's nice having a backup, and she's great at what she does, so I just want to publicly acknowledge her. With the bond update, this is really more of a financial update than a construction update. But as you can see on the screen, it was a local bond for $50 million, everything from safety measures, technology, renovations, construction, furniture, and equipment. And within those 5 different categories, we were able to group them basically in 3 different categories of new construction, renovation, safety and security, and then technology, furniture, and equipment was in another bucket of money, if you will. So the next slide basically, I'm sorry, it's not a little bit bigger, but is new construction. Within the $50 million is about $34 million for new construction. And we only had to report on FY25, but Florence was able to dig up FY24 as well, so you can kind of see the progression of the $34 million for new construction. You can see what we spent in FY24, but in FY25, obviously the projects were getting going, and many of them, we spent just over $9 million with a total of about $11 million so far, and we have $22 million to go. The projects underneath them is a very loosely placed projects that we were doing, which means in 24 we might have just started it, or we did a lot of the projects. One of the first major things we did was the rights and or the track and fields and the shade structures. And so that was kind of within FY24, 25. And it still means we still might have had some budget still left, and you'll see that in FY26, but the money allocated, or excuse me, the money spent in FY25 was just through June 30th. Of 2025. So all those projects aren't completely done. Some of them are completely done and some of them aren't. And within the balance, you can see the projects that we had left. I thought that would just be an interesting note for you to know what's still coming and the timelines on all of them. The core construction and Swim and Associates are wonderful to work with. I can tell you within all the projects that we've done, every single one of them has come on time or beforehand and under budget. That is just a wonderful team that we work with. And with the balance that we have, we are just now starting November of 2025, which is right now, the ROTC expansion. We're doubling the size of the shooting range. We have our SHS Science remodels. The Fine Arts Center, we're going to start here in March. And before we start that, we were able to be creative with money, so we are going to be actually adding some parking spots at Walden Grove because, as you know, a bunch of kids park there. So we're going to be doing that first here very, very quickly. And in March, you will start to see the construction of the Fine Arts Center. The warming kitchen, ALC expansion, and courtyard and playground enhancements will come this summer just because they are so busy and kids are around, and we'll be doing a lot of the other projects as well. So that's very exciting to come. The next slide just shows some quick pictures of it. You can see the football field, which I know you guys have all seen. Absolutely beautiful. We have the Wrights and Ridge 6th classroom addition right there on the left, and one of the shade structures at Walden Grove, and another picture lower left is at Wrights and Ridge, and the tennis courts. Half of that was paid for by bond, and half was paid for SFOB as part of the project there at Walden Grove. The next bucket of money was the technology, furniture, and equipment. Again, that bucket of money was just about $9 million. We spent about $1.3 in FY25. And a lot of things that we've done, I've just placed them under the total because all of these are still kind of progress in motion. But we have the one-to-one technology, the interactive boards, network switches, tables, chairs, cabinets, all kinds of stuff, lots of fine arts and athletic equipment. So again, I know I've seen some of the kids using some of the things that we bought, and it's just kind of neat to see it all come to fruition. And again, the next picture is a lot of things that I don't understand, but Manny Villa sent me a lot of pictures, and it's kind of cool to see, everything again come in and better access to the things that we do for our kids. And the last bucket of money was safety and security, and this had to do with the ballistic glass, which was one of our first projects, and it's fun to say, and unfortunately that we have to do it, or we thought we need to do it, but we were the first school district in southern Arizona to really implement such a safety at this level. And the field lighting, as you guys have seen, and all the cameras that we've done, and again, we have about $1.4 million left of that, and we spent about 3.6 this last year. And the next is just some of the pictures of the cameras and the lighting out at Walden Grove, and one of our windows that has the glass on it. And the last slide, I don't know if you've been able to see it yet, and hopefully the video will work. If not, I can share it with you. Yep, looks like it's going to work. This is just one of the things that our lights can do at both of our football fields, so pep assemblies or whatever. It's a really neat video, and we can do everything. Our staff has been trained on how to do this, but it's a neat video. It shows the capabilities of the lighting. And that's probably about good, Betsy. But again, you can do any light, any color, any mode. So it's really a neat project to come together. I enjoyed it. So, and with that, I'll be answer any questions on the financial parts of the bond, and maybe soon I can do a presentation on some of the future projects coming up as well in terms of the construction piece. But
Lizette?
Okay. Up next, we have the capital override, and again, this is also referred to as a DAA, District Additional Assistance Override. So the breakdown is there in front of you. The DAA override, we passed that in November of 2022, and again, we're very grateful for our community who supports our schools, all of our schools, our whole entire district. We come from a really great community that does support multiple facets of our school district, and one of them is this one. And so what it is, it's for 7 years, and it's $1 million even for 7 years. The first year that was implemented was fiscal year 24, and it goes through fiscal year 30 with no phase down. And the total capital expenditures that we spent last year in fiscal 25 was $3.7 million, and of that was $1 million, and we spent it on 3 student transportation vans, 1 microbus, fine arts and athletics, Copperview Elementary School, the playground repairs. It was in need of repairs. It's hard to believe that, it seems like one of our newer schools, but the sun is brutal on our playgrounds. So we had some repairs we had to take care of there. Some AC unit at Anza. And then the rest of it was for digital textbook adoptions and instructional aids. And then we did some classroom furniture as well. So the next slide is just a picture of one of our, we call microbuses. So they're a 15-passenger bus, does not require CDL. So a lot of our teams and clubs do take these multiple places. They have AC. Cameras, they're 15-passenger, and so that makes, now that we have this purchase, that makes 6 of these white buses that we have available for our students to be able to be transported in. The next one is, our next pupil transportation is we call them transit vans, and the reason we went from the regular, I think there were Chevy vans before, is just because of more capacity. So these vans are equipped with 10 passengers. They're a little bit more roomier inside, where they have a higher seat ceiling, and those are equipped with AC, cameras. The kids love the portable chargers that are in the back seats so that they can keep their phones charged and call mom and dad when they need to. So those are equipped with that. And then now that makes, we purchased 4, but out of the DA override, we purchased 3. The next item is a Copperview playground, and as you can see, there's a lot of wear and tear. We put a lot of use into that playground. So there's a before and after, and again, it's just wear and tear over time due to the sun. So it looks really nice. The other expenditures are in instructional technology resources, and under that umbrella is all of our adopted curriculum that is technology related, and that's just a nice picture of all of the different types of technology resources that we have in our classrooms, K through 12. The next one is our classroom furniture, and we have a few classrooms who received furniture this year. This was an existing classroom at Wrights and Ridge. There were some changes at Wrights and Ridge, and so we were able to purchase furniture. The majority of our furniture will be delivered this fiscal year in 2026. We were just waiting for the dust to settle on some of those projects, like our new classrooms, and we have more plans to come. So we're excited about the changes for 2026. The next item is maintenance and operation override. And a little bit of background on a maintenance and operation override. It is used for operational costs, specifically salaries. It's limited to 14%, and that is based off of our revenue control limit. And so our voters approved in the same year to renew. We're very grateful once again because this is a renewal. It's not a new initiative. It's something that our community has really supported us in past years, as far as I can remember. Right. And so we renewed in 2022, and it became effective the same fiscal year as the DAA, which is in 2024. The difference between this one and the DAA is that it's a percentage of our RCL, which is going to increase or decrease depending on enrollment and the revenue control limit. It is limited for 7 years, but it does have a phase down in the last 2 years. So it's up to the 14%, and then years 6 and 7 there is a phase down. What that goes to is this year for fiscal 25, our maintenance and operation override. There's a list of all of the positions. It's over 100 staff positions. And like Dr. Valenzuela mentioned, things like fine arts, and JROTC, or CTE programs, athletic programs, counselors, things of that nature, instructional aides. And so again, this passed in November of 2022, and the phase down reduction is set to sunset in fiscal year 29. And then I always think that pictures are worth more than seeing the list of an Excel spreadsheet and seeing everything come into action. And so the first item there is our NJROTC program, which again, they're hard at work, and we have many students in that program. The next item is the fine arts, and again, this is from our elementary grades to all the way to our high school with some type of a fine arts program. And so there's some nice pictures there. Also our athletic programs, just some highlights of just a few. It's too hard to put all of these pictures in one PowerPoint, so just picked a few. And then again, our CTE, our PE, our SROs programs. So that was neat to see the CTE program, the culinary program, was helping our cafeteria serve food and prepare the food for Thanksgiving feast last year. And so that was a picture from last year. So it's nice to see them help out and go to their sibling schools to help serve lunch. The others is student clubs, and again, that's just a few pictures there of a couple of our Stucos. And the next one is just a few pictures of our wonderful counselors that we have. And so it's good to just put a name with a face when we look at what positions this funds. And so again, with that, I can't extend enough gratitude to our community for supporting our district on all those initiatives, bonds, overrides. And I'm very grateful. We're one of few that have all three. And so it's important to recognize our community and thank them when you see them. So with that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Lizette. And I hope that as you watch those slides and you view those pictures and you look at the numbers, that the message is clear that as a community, we work together to give the best of ourselves to make our students the best that they can be. And that in doing that, we believe in local control, local schools, local community, and that together we strive to be good stewards of the public's dollar, of the public's trust, and that we deliver a solid return on that investment. And with that, that is always our relentless pursuit. And with that, I do recommend and ask for the board's acceptance of this report.
We have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Madam President.
Dr. Sparks?
I think every time we have this report and we go through this information, I'm grateful to live in a community across our district that historically has supported public education at a very high level. And I do agree, when I look across the state, we are one of a very small handful of districts that have bonds, additional district assistance, and our maintenance and operation override. And unlike a lot of districts that do have one of those or the other or even all of them, you often see these numbers, especially the maintenance and operation override, just gets molded into the fray. It just gets stuck in the bucket. And I know ever since I've been on the board, it has been intentional by the district and the administration and the board to be very specific. Like, we are supporting these things with that funds, because when you go to other districts, that is what separates, Sahuarita Unified School District apart. We do have counselors in our schools. We do have when you look at the expanse of options we have, K-12, and you go to a district that doesn't have those things, you don't see that level. People when I travel around the state with the School Board Association, people ask, like, how do you manage all that? Well, because we have a community that recognizes the value of public education, and I'm grateful for living here and having had all of my children go through this district and to be involved in an organization that is in a location where people value public education. And that's all I have to say. I'm grateful for the report. It's always fun to see stuff being built and, pictures of cool things. And I think I know what most of those things that Mr. Menavia put on that screen. They're technology cool stuff. But also playgrounds and equipment and buildings and making things look, keeping maintenance up, which is a whole nother structure that we've been, we shouldn't have to be paying for those regular upgrades out of bond money. And I mean, a large group of individuals just won a lawsuit at the state against the legislature for not funding maintenance of facilities. And I think a lot of people don't realize in the public that we don't get enough money to repair our buildings and maintain them. We have to ask, and it bothers me every time they call it a grant. No, how about your responsibility under the state constitution is to provide a public education as nearly free as possible. And so I'm grateful that our community has stepped up and paid that amount. That's why we have facilities. Because people they come here and they're like, man, you have amazing facilities. They're pretty, they're well kept, they're taken care of, they're well maintained. It's because we have a community that does it. So I apologize, I'll get off my soapbox, but I appreciate living here and I appreciate the impact that has on young people. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? I just would like to sort of echo what Dr. Sparks says. In the work that we get to do when we get to see other school districts and visit with other school board members, it's almost shocking sometimes when you're talking to someone else where the board doesn't get along with each other or the district administration, and how much strife that gets caused by that and the things that they deal with. And it's funny when we sit at some of these things and we kind of look at each other, we don't deal with that. And so to live in this community that has been so overwhelmingly supportive of our little tiny schools, our big schools, and every other flavor in between, from pre-K all the way through high school, it's so fantastic that we have this community, and we cannot emphasize that enough. So thank you very much, because you as the community make it really easy for us to be able to give our kids the things that they need. So we're so appreciative of everything, all the support that we get from this community. So
Just to add what you're saying, like, everybody puts the students first, as it should be. Should not be like the other districts, so we're just thankful for everybody.
yeah. So, any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you very much. We will move on to the Student Activities Treasurer for fiscal year 25-26.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, President Reese. This is a statutorily required duty of the board, and that is that the board each year designate a treasurer to oversee the operation of student activities. You know, our students work hard, and they raise a lot of money, and so you're talking a fair amount of dollars here, and so this is understandably a significant responsibility. And at this time, I do recommend that the governing board approve the Director of Business Services as the Student Activities Treasurer and the Accounting Specialist for Special Accounts as the Assistant Student Activities Treasurer for each school.
Okay, we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. We will move on to item 9, new business governing board, possible discussion, possible action for the Walden Grove High School bleachers GMP. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, President Reese, members of the board. You know, the quest for excellence is a dynamic thing. It's something that never ends. It's kind of a relentless pursuit. And one of the nice things of having the trust of our community through some of these local bonds and overrides is that we do have the ability within our stated objectives to meet some of these physical infrastructure needs that just need to be done. Dr. Sparks mentioned about the judge's ruling on the capital lawsuit, which seems like it's been going on the majority of my career. But
8 years, actually.
yeah, it's been a long time. But that local control gives us decision-making freedom that is valuable. So I hope the community realizes when they make these investments, they have value. And this is an example of that. So if you think back, as we teachers say, way back, think back to the opening of Walden Grove High School. And Walden Grove High School, with much gratitude, was built to a majority level by the Arizona School Facilities Board with School Facilities Board standards at that time. It opened in 2011. It was approved before that, 2009 or 2010. And the school, once again, our community supplemented that, but it was really a very, very tight budget. High schools have always been very expensive. Comprehensive high schools, they're even more expensive now. But, so we were barely able to put a very meek and modest guest bleachers on that stadium. And if you went to the game, the first football game of the year between Sahuarita and Walden Grove, Scott, in a very quick turnaround at my request, because I knew it would happen, reached out and he brought in like 500 more seats or something. I think he had to go to, not personally, but he had to reach out to somewhere in Phoenix to get these little bleachers to come back. And it was great. And it was, other than the disruption of lightning, which was nobody's doing, we adjusted well. But it was a realization that we need to add some more space. And so through our intentional budgeting, this is a GMP in the amount of $226,112. So it's not one of our multi-million-dollar new entire facilities, but it does make a difference. It enhances the game day experience for our guests. It shows that we are good hosts and hostesses to our guests. And so this is a request that will take what's there, which is about 200 seats, 220 or something. And it will add, and I think we have a picture. There it is. You see the red is what we're going to add. So it'll up our capacity over there to about 700 seating, which it still is going to be a tight squeeze when Sahuarita comes over for the annual game every other year, which we'll adapt to. But it does give our guests much more seating capacity. So I'm grateful. And thank you, Scott, thank you, Lizette, for working out the nuts and bolts, the details to make this happen. And I would recommend at this time approval of the GMP that's in your packet for the Wallen Grove High School bleachers.
Okay. We have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
So move.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Madam President,
Dr. Sparks?
I love the picture. This is not just, over the years, schools have showed up in standing room only sometimes, and other schools show up. So I think it's needed too. But I also like the picture because it shows that beautiful green artificial turf at the beginning of that pole vault run. And also the nice, beautiful sand for the triple jump and the long jump pit. Then that was part of the expansion. So when we did,
Yes.
maybe a lot of people don't know that when they expanded, when they did the field, they also moved and relocated with the help of I think the head volleyball or the head pole vaulting coach at the U of A was involved too, like helping to place that and locate it so that it was appropriate for wind and sun. And anyway, it will complete that side of the stadium. I think it's needed and it's been necessary for a long time.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be great. But I also had to point that out.
Well, I'm glad you made the point because, after, so I realized that, I think this is accurate, check me, Scott. About half the school buildings in the Sahuarita Unified School District have been built in my tenure as superintendent. And one of the many lessons I've learned through the school of, hard knocks, is that with big things like that, you get one shot. And to your point, we did. We even got advice about the prevailing winds so that we could align the pole vaulting ramp in the right direction for maximum benefit for our students. So thank you for pointing that one out as well.
Any other discussion?
Just super quick, very excited, as you said, and I've looked across the field many, many, many years, and I'm like, oh. And now it's going to be like, yay, there's more seats. Because it does get pretty crowded, so it's going to be very, very cool. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, we will move on to the Sahuarita High School Sidewalks GMP. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And I will spare you the extended background introduction because it's basically the same themes as with the bleachers. But I will tell you that to the point that continuous improvement is an attitude, it's a mindset, and it's a continuous quest. This is kind of an exciting opportunity, and it really comes up through engaging our community, talking to the community, looking for opportunities. This is basically a huge sidewalk, but I'm really excited about it because it adds additional value. And it comes about by having conversations. For example, a few years ago, Dr. Sparks and I talked about the LDS Church, and they started a seminary program. So we have, I don't know how many kids, but I know it's a lot of them, John, that walk back and forth for participation in that seminary program. And despite my asking that they use the underpass, it's a little far out of the way, so they very responsibly use the crosswalk. But then the access to Sahuarita High School, we knew that there was a room for opportunity for improvement there. And so part of this is adding an access point, a gate, as they come across the crosswalk, and maybe Betsy could put the little arrow so you can see where it is. I think it's the little yellow. Is it the little yellow? It's the little yellow.
Yeah.
So they'll come across, and instead of becoming engaged in what really is an access point for automobiles, they're going to have a sidewalk to walk around. Now, they are going to have to walk around the parking lot, but it'll have a nice sidewalk so that they can walk around and get back to class. We also noticed that the students, we have a lot of students from SMS that walk for high school level programs that our students participate in, as we've increased high school level class offerings at the middle school, in addition to just kids leaving at the end of the day. And that little walkway between the baseball field, that's the red piece on top there, and the tennis courts, it's become eroded, worn out, a mud bath on a good rainy day. eroded with the asphalt that's there. And so it's going to provide a nice walking path. And it's going, if you look at how it goes around, it connects around the gravel sidewalk there, so it'll plug in to where the demarcation point is for the town of Sahuarita's sidewalk. So they'll have, and we have kids now, as more students, as more houses are closer, we do have pedestrians that come from the La Villita area, so it'll provide them full access through a cemented sidewalk instead of just gravel and dirt and other things. So this is kind of an exciting little project. And the GMP for this one is $160,841, and I do recommend your approval at this time.
We have a recommendation. Do we have
So
a
moved.
motion?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I
Dr.
just-
Sparks.
I just think it's great. Sorry. Well, I think we forget that main campus was built, there was nothing on the other side of the road. There wasn't even a median, right? Like it was a two-lane road. So to really, this is not something we forgot or missed, or it's just, the fact is when the main campus was built, it was a two-lane road with something on one side. There was no other side, and we really didn't have, really, Rancho was not there as a subdivision, really. So there was no there was a small number of houses, maybe, 20 or 30 houses in that section that walked, maybe.
Yes, when I came, there was still, and Jenna, I see Jenna's here, been around here a while, there was still barbed wire fence on Sahuarita Road.
Yeah, they had none of these big metal fences we have now that are all painted. That we have to paint every 15 years or whatever. They don't look good, but I think it's really good. So really, it's just finishing the connection, because now we have people coming across the back and forth. It'll also be utilized during town events when people park in all of our parking lots on both, not only the parking lot at the district office, but they also park at the high school. And, watching people walk and roll their strollers off that sidewalk into the car lane, basically, there was never a walkway there. There never has been. So I think that's great. And then I walk down that path between the district office and the high school quite a bit. And it has gotten very bad. So I'm super excited. That's all going to be concrete. Like, it's going to be sidewalk, and because it is a tripping hazard right now. Like, it is a rough path. It gets the job done, but it's coming apart.
It's a little rough.
Dr. Valenzuela. Also, if I can just note on that cost, some people might say, well, that sounds expensive for a sidewalk, but there's quite a bit of grading work that needs to be done at Sahuarita High School, and also the one that comes from the underpass that will come around between the baseball field. There's a light pole that we actually have to move, and it makes sense just to do it now and do it correct. So part of that cost is actually moving a parking lot light pole about 4 feet, so it has a continuous sidewalk and not something that's a little strange. So there's a little bit more than just sidewalk and cement cost.
Thank you, Scott.
Although it's a big sidewalk.
It's a big side, it's a lot of concrete.
Yeah. Any other comments or questions? So I just, from a very, very, very personal level, having pushed a marimba down that sidewalk between the baseball field and the tennis courts, I am unbelievably grateful that that one is going to be fixed. Not that I think my marimba pushing days are probably getting pretty close to being done, but regardless, when Sahuarita High School hosts band competitions, winter guard competitions, indoor percussion competitions, that walkway gets used very heavily. And when you're pushing multiple thousands of dollars of equipment down that pathway, I'm really excited that that's going to be much safer and much less likely to rattle things off of really expensive instruments as they go down that walkway. So,
And I helped Mrs. Reese last week
Yeah.
push some of those big things. And I can attest that they're very heavy and that they roll very easily because they have a lot of momentum.
yes, we were catching them down almost a
Yes.
45-degree angle last
We were,
weekend.
we were.
So,
I do have to point out on that, there were, 15 bands there, 16 bands, and I would measure to guess you were the only superintendent
Yeah.
to come see your bands. I mean, that speaks to your leadership and your desire to be present, and I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. It was a joy to be there.
All right, any
I
further?
actually have,
Mr. Bruno.
all I'm going to say is, times change. And I have seen a lot of change. And I'm going to leave it at that.
All right, any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. We will move on now to the policy revision for JACH, the drug and alcohol use by students. This is a second read. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, ma'am. President Reese, members of the board, this is a second read. And per I think a request that we got last time, I just wanted to point out, as far as I know, we've received no comments about the implementation of this piece. This is a policy that's been around for a very long time. It's an ASBA standard policy about basically the fact that the drugs and alcohol are not allowed to be in possession or not allowed to be distributed, sold, used. But it was brought to our attention that there was nothing specific, although I would argue it's probably a logical inference, but that there was nothing explicitly about actually being under the influence of. So in consulting with our legal counsel, they suggested it would be prudent in clarifying, although not absolutely necessary, but it would help clarify to add being under the influence of to this policy. And so we've done that again. There was no feedback about it. We've done one read. This is the second. So I would recommend approval of this policy change as recommended, as put forth.
Okay. Do we have a recommendation? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. We will move on to, we are all the way down to the consent agenda. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, President Reese, members of the board. You have a list of items that are allowed by law to be considered in one comprehensive motion, and at this time, I do recommend approval of the consent agenda in its entirety.
We have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Every once in a while, I just have a question if someone knows, but the SHS Biotechnology Club is selling soap bars. Is that soap bars they made? Very cool.
I believe
I do not know,
That's also
but I'm
Betsy says
curious
yes.
myself. Thank you.
I will take Betsy's word for it. She is in the know. That's kind of cool.
that is cool. So, all right. Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I'm just going to say to the point of what Dr. Sparks said and Betsy's validation, that really exemplifies the ideals of what learning should be. It should be deep. It should be interconnected across content. I mean, think about that. Entrepreneurialism, science, and it should be connected to the broader community. So just very good. I learned something too, and I think it kind of affirms in me that we're doing things that support the type of learning that our students need.
And biotechnology in some way leads to a biochemistry degree, which I happen to know is one of the hardest degrees at the university. Like, everybody says that. Even the physics majors say that's a hard major.
It's a very hard major.
Yeah. And soap is biochemistry, I guess.
It is.
In its pure form.
Perfect. All right. We are moving on to possible future agenda considerations. Does any board member have any possible future agenda considerations they'd like to add to a list? Seeing none, we'll move on. We are going to establish our next board meeting on November 12th, 2025 in the Sahuarita District Auditorium. There will be details available on our website. There is no executive session this time, and so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you and have a good evening.